All right, so we're going to be removing and we're going to be installing a new disposer today. First thing to do, remove that, put a piece of tissue or paper towel so you don't have any water spilling, and get a bucket or something to catch any water that's going to come out of here when you disconnect. I think this is either a flat or a 3/8 to remove that, and you will have your power. We have to turn power off first. If you have a plug, then you can just unplug it. So we're going to verify, make sure the switch is off, which it should, and we can disconnect this. And first thing we're going to do is reconnect our power while you have it out. It's a lot easier. And before you release up here, we need to make sure everything's disconnected from here so that you don't damage anything when you lower it. And we can lower it by removing this, by twisting it that way, and that will release it. All right, let's get started. All right, so this is another portion that is very important. You want to make sure that you clean the area. Now, this is where you're going to be putting down the plumber's putty. So you got to make sure that you don't have any contaminants between the two mating surfaces. Otherwise, potentially, you could probably get a leak. So make sure that you either use a small, maybe steel wool, or even a scraper, but don't mar the surface. You just want to basically remove any old debris that was previously there and just get it nice and clean. Even a plastic scraper is fine. And then clean it again just to make sure, maybe Scotch-Brite, steel wool, whatever, just clean it. And once it's nice and clean, then it's time to get the putty ready to be dropped in. All right, so we got our new disposer out, and if you have a dishwasher, make sure you knock that out before you get it on. It's called a knockout, and we'll do that. Otherwise, your dishwasher will not drain. Very important. All right, knock out. Make sure you take it out. There it is. Rubber gasket. Keep this tool. All right, so now we're going to connect your black to black and your line to line and your ground screw, which is a green. Let's get that. Also, when your disposer, if you do run into a situation to where you hear it humming and it's not turning on, you have a reset here. You press that. If that doesn't work and it's still humming, this tool serves two purposes: pulling it down and also turning it, loosening it. So if it's not turning, it might be stuck, and that's what that's for. Keep it handy. All right, let's get it wired up. All right, so first things first, you will need a cord restraint, and that holds the wire securely to the disposer. So in the event of anything, the wire is not going to short out or pull on the wire nuts. So super important that you install one back on your unit. Now, the other unit did not have one that was fully secured. So in fact, you'll see, well, you've probably seen when I was pulling on the wire, everything pretty much, the black wire was not fully connected. And I'm not sure how that unit was even working, but it was working. So make sure you secure your 2 screws once you screw the cord restraint into the disposer. Now you can loosen them up far enough to where you're able to turn it and snug it in, meaning you're able to twist it around the wire. Then you can secure the main wire and snug up. Now, first thing I like to connect is your ground wire and your green screw. That's going to be connected to the copper wire, and you should be able to basically reinstall the screw back into the little loop. If not, you'll have to make a small, just like a little loop, and reconnect your ground screw and get that one out of the way. Now we're connecting our white wire, which is the neutral, to the white wire on the disposer, and then we're going to be doing the same except black to black. Make sure you tighten those wire nuts securely, and you should not be able to pull any of the wires out of the wire nut. So just make sure you do your checking by tugging slightly to see if they're nice and secure. Now we're securing the bottom here. All is well, so snug that up and that portion is done. So now we're going to be take that aside, and we're going to be loosening those screws. Those are what actually does the tightening. You watertight. You do have a retainer clip. It's a spring, and you have to loosen that enough so you can get it out. And you'll just need a flat blade screwdriver. Slowly pry it. You don't want to stretch it too much. Now there's a tool, I will leave a link for it. I could not find mine, and it makes reinstalling the spring a lot easier. You just pop it in both ends and pops it right over, because it can be a little difficult sometimes reinstalling that retainer clip. Pay attention to how you take them off, and you do have the cardboard. You'll remove that, and that will go on the outside. We're going to be putting plumber's putty. Make sure you line your name or the incinerator. Line it up nice and straight. And push down so you can get some of the putty out and basically get it kind of seated just a little bit. Now this is the part that is probably the hardest part of the job. Make sure you don't stretch that spring out. You want to make sure it's still nice and tight, and loosen those. And if you do have someone to help you, have someone push down on the other part in the sink so that you don't accidentally push it up. But you should be fine if you're able to hold it down, because it will move on you. Luckily, the spring is not too stiff, so you're actually able to work it on. Sorry about the angle, but it's pretty straightforward. You're trying to get that spring into the groove and then snug up. So it wasn't too bad. Now keep in mind, if you stretch that spring out, you might have an issue when you snug the screws up. It will just come right off, so be mindful. Now when you tighten these, go a little bit of time. Don't tighten one too much. You want to go in tandem until all three of them, because you want to have equal force coming down and tightening the flange at the same time. Don't tighten one at a time. So go all the way around. Now I'm using the drill just to speed the process up. And then what you want to do, you want to use your screwdriver and basically get a better feel so you can know how much torque is actually being applied. So we'll be tightening up with the screwdriver. Also, pay attention to where the water or the drain connection and everything's going to be. And you want to make sure you set the upper flange in relation to where it's going to be snugged and tightened. So the flange will bite onto the upper portion as you raise the disposer up to it. And you just turn and it snugs and it tightens up. So you're able to twist or turn the disposer. Just make sure you keep the top from moving. And if the top is moving, it means you need to snug up the bottom screws, which you can see I'm doing. And again, go all the way around as you tighten them. All right, so it's time to basically to connect your drain, and providing all goes well, everything should line up nicely. So just make sure that you rotate your disposer so that everything fits just like it was before you took it apart. So pretty straightforward from here on. We got all our connections done. And you have your dishwasher. Make sure you connect your dishwasher line. That's a 5/16 screw. I lost power and we had to get some more light. That's what that is. And tuck the excess dishwasher drain out the way. And we're pretty much ready for testing now. Yep, go ahead and remove the excess putty. You don't want to get that down your disposer. And keeping a bucket there just in case. We did not have a leak, and I forgot to take the bucket out. I did take it out, but it was after the video. Checking for leaks. So far, so good. Alright guys, enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you for watching.